Ladies and gentlemen, let us go upon a brief little journey of the mind to a land not too far from this one, Houston, Texas. Now, I want to set the stage, and you can conjure up in your mind the same or nearly the same images as I do. It's a Thursday night around 11:30, and you're in a taqueria. Already the story is fun and exciting because, to my way of thinking, if you're sitting in a taqueria at 11 o'clock at night, you've probably been drinking. Anyway, amid the usual flow din of noise in the taco joint, signaled by the tinkling of the little bell over the door, enters the bad guy. Doom, doom, doom. An armed robber who brandishes a gun around and immediately just begins separating customers and workers alike from their possessions. It's a scary situation, no doubt. And if you're sitting there with your taco in one hand and a watch-shaped farmer's tan on the other from where your Rolex used to be, you might just think that this night has gotten about as exciting as it possibly can get. And yet, you're wrong. Because a moment later, an armed citizen, not only of the United States of America, but also the Republic of Texas, stands up and, apart from his fellow men and women, withdraws his own gun and blows the ever-loving shit out of the robber, hitting him 9 times and killing him, obviously. Now, if you were to think to yourself, man, that Chad Prather sure can conjure up some funny and interesting stories, what a fiction writer, again, you'd be wrong. You end up being wrong in an awful lot of my stories, actually. I don't know if you've ever noticed that or not, and don't take it personally. Anyway, this really happened, and it happened just last week. Now, police officials are looking to question the guy who did the shooting because he and the rest of the patrons just left the restaurant afterward. While this appears to be technically legal, it's still a baller move. Now, police have not indicated that they're going to press charges, but they do want to talk to him. For one thing, it turns out that the robber was using a fake gun, which let me break in here with some oddly placed advice. If you're going to rob people, do you really think it's smart to do so with a fake gun? I mean, in Texas. Now, obviously, I'm not advocating you go rob people with a real one either. Just don't rob people. It's pretty simple. But if you're gonna, why in the world would that be? Why would that part of you be half-ass? Anyway, even with the robber's gun being fake, his intentions were not. And given that nobody else in the restaurant seemed to realize it was fake, it's probably pretty safe to say the shooter was under the same impression. So, justifiable homicide, right? Well, we'll see. But it certainly looks that way. It's like we always say on this program, you are the first responder when a situation arises and you're involved in it. It could very easily fall upon you in a moment to be the person who's willing and able to neutralize someone who's posing a danger to others and yourself. So be prepared. Get strapped or get clapped, as they say. And I know this goes without saying, but this idea extends beyond the idea of merely being armed with a gun. You should try to be armed with knowledge, experience, wisdom, basically all the things you'd expect a kung fu master to display alongside his ass-kicking skills. Whatever you do, though, never bring a plastic gun to a taqueria fight. That's right, folks. I love you. God bless.